Here are the true false portion of this test, problems 9, 10, and 11. Problem 9, what we need to consider with this is we're stating that 10 to the negative fifth power is equal to the base of 10, the negative 10 to the fifth power. We need to carefully consider what happens with exponents and make the decision on this and say, do negative exponents change the base? We need to remember the first thing we talked about with negative powers is that the negative powers, we think about a reciprocal. What I really want you to pay attention to is not only the exponent, notice the exponents are different, but also pay attention to the base, that we're dealing with a different base. And so if you change the exponent to its inverse, does it mean the exact same thing? I would suggest to you that you go ahead and type this into a calculator, or you go ahead and just list this out in expanded form. Problem 10, indicate whether this statement is true or false. Consider the fact that we have 10 as the bases are equal. That's a good sign. Consider the fact that we have 10 to the second power raised to the negative third power compared to 10 to the negative second power raised to the positive third power. So we have to think about the statement with this, recognizing it from a perspective of power of a power, which tells us that we can do something very specific with the exponents. And we have to compare that to the other expression, talking about power of a power. And how does that come out to it? Is this true or false? Finally, with number 11, we need to consider the piece about whether 10 to the third power divided by 10 to the 14th power is equal to 10 to the negative 11th power. What I suggest on this one is to think about expanded notation. If you need to write it all out, 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10. And then 10 to the 14th power is going to be 10 times 10 times 10. I am not going to write out 14 times, but you get the idea, and think about what you'll see at the very end. Obviously, there are going to be powers down here in the denominator that are left over after you work on doing some things where you divide common bases, and you have to think about what's going on here with this quotient of powers.